Gentlemen, and the one lady who probably watches my videos, we have a champion, finally. And not this absolute trash can of a champion that has been added, the Chronicler Adeline, if I could talk. Not this champion. We are talking about Vault Keeper. He is looking pretty juicy so far based on the skills that they allowed us to vote on. So, if you're not familiar, you come over here to the news section. You go to May Fusion Skills Vote Round 1 and you go ahead and hit Details, and it actually allows you to vote for which one of the skills you want to have him have on his A3. Which is pretty cool, because this guy's going to be next month's Fusion. What do we have for skills? Well, we have a damage focus, and I'm not looking at them on my screen, so I might look down at my phone a little bit, but I'll pop up, pictures of them on my screen. Some nice pretty pictures for you guys to look at, right? We have a damage focus of attacks one enemy, ignoring stone skin buffs, and if the attack kills the target, it fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. Not that good, in my opinion. We don't know multipliers yet, we don't know base stats, we don't know really anything about this champion, not to mention we have like a plethora of meta nukers that can be used for the arena right now, so damage dealers are very easily replaced, right? Myself, for example, and a lot of this is going to be focused on arena because that's the end game content, right? And I think that's where you'd use that skill anyways. You're not going against PvE champions right now that have stone skin, right? So this is clearly an arena-based skill. Champions that do damage are in no short supply in the arena right now. We have Taurus, right? We have, who else do we even have here? We have Wukong, right? Wherever he is, right here. We have Rotos. We have Harima. We have Georgian. We have this Lizardman, Lazarius. There's so many champions right now that can do damage, so to have a single target nuke that just doesn't really do anything else, doesn't ignore defense, doesn't fill turn meter, nothing. Sorry, it does fill turn meter by 50%. Sorry, so doesn't ignore defense. It isn't that good in my opinion. So what I voted for was the defense focused skill. And again, I'll show a picture here. So it's going to place 2 intercept stacks on a target ally. Also places a 60% increased defense and a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense. Each intercept stack will block 1 attempt at placing a crowd-controlled debuff on a champion, even if it is specified in the enemy's skill that the debuff itself cannot be blocked. This includes stuns, sleep, provoke, freeze, fear, true fear, petrification, and sheep debuffs. After the attempt, 1 intercept stack will be blocked. So, what does this mean? This is an insane skill. First of all, when we first got this announced and it was named the Intercept, I thought that it was going to be taking that debuff and placing it on this champion instead. Something similar to a, where is she? Night Revenant maybe? A Ancora. Something similar to her passive, right? If it would load, it's going to take forever. Something similar to her passive where when they try to place a debuff, she gets it instead. I thought that's what it was going to be. No. What happens is you have 2 stacks of you cannot debuff me, and that includes sheeps. What is one of the most annoying champions to go against, especially in the live arena right now? That is right, our last fusion, Armanz the Magnificent, who places a stun and places a sheep. So you can essentially come in here, you can say, hey, sure, you can take my turn meter, unless I resist it, you're not going to stun me, and hey, sure, you're not going to sheep me. So you can place that essentially on a specific target champion. So if you have somebody in a stone skin or something, like, for example, if you run Vault Keeper in stone skin, he can't be sheeped anyways, right? Unless it's that 50-50 of removing the debuffs. So that is an insane counter to Armanz the Magnificent. If you think about other debuffs that we have placed, you have somebody like a Mithrala placing the Petrification, you have the Fears and True Fears coming out, you have Sleeps from somebody like a Sifi who's very common in the arena, right? So this is an incredible skill in my opinion. It's what I voted for. If I look here, 46% of the player base so far has voted for that particular skill, 23% of the player base has voted for the damage focus skill, and 29% has voted for the support focus skill, which we'll get into now, which is revives all dead allies with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. Then he places a 5% poison debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. The number of poison debuffs placed on each target is equal to the number of allies revived. I don't think that's a very good skill. Why? You're not using poison in arena, first of all. You could make the argument, hey, sure, let's have this champion solo some content. Let's have him solo Dragon Hard. Let's do something like that, right? That's not very useful in my opinion. The reason why is, so first of all, soloing is fantastic, but you come over to Skinwalkers and you have a previous fusion Nishak who can do the exact same thing but way better. You have somebody like and God, I'm not going to remember where he's at, but you have a... Oh my god, I cannot remember what faction he's in. Let me go take a look here. So you have somebody like a Eurogrim, right? If I can find. You have somebody like a Eurogrim who's placing all those poisons and a cleanse and healing and all that sort of good stuff. You have somebody like a Venomage who's useful in more areas of the game and just straight up places poison. You have somebody like a Mystic Priest Ornn, which is basically somebody like a Venomage but from the Sylvan Watchers faction, right? So there's just so many champions even at a epic level that can do that same exact role and solo the content. There's builds out there where they're soloing hard stages, right? And if you're looking at a legendary level for legendaries that can do the same exact thing, we look no further than Tomb Lord, who can decrease turn meters. He can place decrease attack and decrease defense. And he can also place up to 4 poisons on everybody if his attack is critical, plus a decreased speed on the A1 if it's critical. So overall, this guy's A3 is just not going to be that good comparatively to other champions that we have. And if you can run somebody like a Venomage or a Dark Kayle or a Nishak or an Ornn or a... God damn it, I forgot his name already. The new epic that I just got that I was excited for. Come on, Eurogrim, there we go. Or Eurogrim, right? You're not going to book out a legendary champion and use them instead of these champions, especially if you have these champions already built. So granted, I will say that this particular skill could be useful for, you know, early game players if they're trying to get some solo runs done on Dragon Hard, or even just regular Dragon, right? Trying to solo it with 4 food champions. The thing to keep in mind, though, is those poisons are situational. So you're going to have to rely on the allies that you're with dying, so he has to be pretty much a solo champion, and that's it. Again, we don't know what his A2 and his A1 are going to be, so maybe he'll be built out a little bit better for soloing stuff, right? But in my humble opinion, at least, the defense tree is definitely the way to go. It hard counters our Mons. He's going to be so useful for live arena by doing that. He also is placing the increased defense and a shield, which is proportional to his defense. So again, as you build him out with HP or, you know, defense, you're making him more tanky, which is going to help you survive in the long run as well. I think the defense tree, if it's combined with a good skill on the A2, this champion could turn out to be pretty nuts, so I'm excited to see what the A2 is. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are going to vote for. Let me know if you think I missed something in this, and if you would vote a different direction for a particular reason. And I'm also interested to hear from you guys what arena nuker you rely on the most. So specifically in tag team arena or in live arena, what nuker is really carrying you through? Who's helping you out the most? I know for me it's probably going to be Harima or it's going to be Taurus. Those two champions together are fantastic. You know, Harima's helping to reduce ignore defense skills and defense ignoring sets and all that sort of good stuff, so she's fantastic. And then Taurus is, you know, one of the most broken champions in the game, so he's pretty good as well. Let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video.